我们也很荣幸啊，在这里头能邀请到这个洛朗先生来接受我们的就关于这个坠落的审判的剖析，是吧？
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
其实这个电影呢，这个坠落的审判呢，我是在电影院看了一次，后来我在看第二次的时候，我有一个特别强烈的那个意愿啊和那个感受，就是我突然发现这个电影的结构是一个古典主义的，音乐有一个结构叫赋格结构。哎，我一看，哎，这个跟那个赋格结构怎么这么像？你看影片里边，他选取的除了那个前面那个西班牙那个孩子丹尼尔弹钢琴那个前面西班牙那个舞曲之后，他最重要的就是肖邦的那个 E 小调前奏曲嘛，对吧？这个音乐是他的一个核心音乐。你看他表现的这个题材是一个特别当代的，是一个特别躁动的那种东西。可是他这个古典主义的结构呢，是一个逆向思维的东西。这种在典籍的这种表现里头，就是在结构表现里头是一个不常见的事儿啊。所以我想问这个洛朗先生啊，就是我知道这个古典主义的这个结构方式，赋格的这个方式，这个结构方式，他们是在一开始就确立了，还是说这种剪辑结构，还是说在最后完善的过程中，它才建立的？
What is really interesting is that I've never heard about this comparison between music construction, music structures, and the film. But what is true is that, and it's very interesting because Justine is not a very good player, but she's playing like awkwardly. But yeah, she is really fond of Bach, who is the master of fugue, and she is really and me too. I'm really fond of this classic music, and this is what I listen to when I'm reading at home. Glenn Good playing Bach. It's really important for me, and it's really interesting to see that the DNA of Justine is into the movie. She's really close to an artist who is making things with intuition a lot. And of course, she's also thinking, but she's a lot using what she is and what she's feeling, and she's following her intuitions. I'm answering generally because it's a way for me to explain that the very unacademic method and techniques that we had were not very decided. It's because we are really working on the craft with the material and without a plan. We are letting the material trying to gather itself. We are like joining good materials together to try options for scenes, but we are not like having ideas. Justine is never okay when ideas are driving and leading all the work. She needs to have a vivid material taking the power on everything. So that's why even if the story is like very straight, because it's only about ambiguity, something happened, we didn't see everything, but it's easy to understand what you are watching to. But the way we are using the material is really that's why it takes time. It took 8 months to edit the movie. We are not designing an idea. It's dirty. Somewhere it's like dirty because it's like life. Life is not clean. Life is a bit dirty for Justine. And it's interesting when it's a bit dirty. So the material has to take place even if the cut is not very good. So of course we have to polish things, and that's my work, but we are working for dirt and for clean, all together. It's really interesting. She's really like an artist rather than a scriptwriter and a designer. She's gathering things together. I was about to answer about Daniel. The thing for this movie, what was really particular was that Daniel is the main character, and he's really the one who had to make choices and the one through through whom we are getting the right emotion, the big emotion at the end. But for very long, he is so aside, because it's like his mother is the character, the main character, for 2 hours. So the main thing for us around Daniel was to really set him and to settle him in the story very precisely, because we could not have a lot of new scenes with him. So he had to be really here and powerful, only with images, body, not lines, not a lot of lines. So we really rebuilt all the piano scenes in order to make him the future mastermind of the story. He is starting at the beginning piano, and we put the piano scenes. It was really not written like that. In the editing process, we realized that the music and the way he is improving piano would be his journey, would be a really powerful way to put him in the head of the audience, without lines, without long scenes, without explanations, So we had this idea to put the first piano tries and chord playing on the credit scene, on the title scene at the beginning. This is an editing idea. So, because when you are building a wall or a cathedral, you have to pay attention to the cornerstones, and the cornerstones are really important. Even if you have a few of them, they really have an impact on all the structure. And the fact that he is playing piano awkwardly with the sound on the pictures of the family, and even we have a piano picture of him at the end of the title scene, is putting him, the boy, not only as a victim, but as someone who is doing something. And what can he do? He's trying to understand what happened. He's trying to figure out. He's struggling to be in the courtroom with the judge. But in fact, inside himself, he's trying to understand and to have to be someone, to do something. And piano is like for us is this journey. He's starting the beginning of the film. The title scene is with him starting piano, and when we are going into the courtroom, the last part, we also put him playing piano with this line info title 1 year later. Well, 1 year later, he's playing the piano better, and it's a very close shot on him, and it's also a cornerstone for the second part of the movie, which is the trial. So we also had rebuilt all the piano scenes with this in mind, that it was his way to be really full of power in the mind of the audience before he is becoming really the main character at the end, And of course, also the way he is imagining images during the trial, when he is hearing the experts talking, he is like we can see him imagining flashbacks around his parents. So it's a way to prepare us to understand that he's going to be the director of the movie at the end. He's going to create images at the end when he's testifying,
第二个问题，这个片子里有2个地方，我觉得比较神奇，在剪接上的这种镜头运用上，我觉得比较神奇。一个就是桑德拉在外头给他那个律师打电话，那叫樊尚是吧？打电话的时候，他就说：“我记得好像是6个月前，我丈夫曾经是那个他吃了阿司匹林，他有那个吃药物的尾随，对吧？这时候这个孩子在屋子里头看着，等桑德拉 因为中间隔了一块玻璃，他能看见这个孩子在里边弹钢琴。过来之后，这个桑德拉的第一次看照片就是他有喘息声，他在电脑里看到了这个男主角，就是说她的丈夫这个叫萨摩埃尔的
三没有
啊，好像似乎跟他有一个交流。这个不确定性就是让我们对这个片子里的，我觉得这段插的特别好，就是也印证了这个导演和这个剪辑师这个洛朗先生，就是他们想把这东西模糊了。还有一个就是最后丹尼尔下定决心之后，他要去做一次，不是在星期一他要第二次出庭作证嘛？在出庭作证的时候，他拿起了自己母亲年少时候的照片，也是喘息声。我觉得这两个地方是两个人物，就是这个三口之家活着的两个人物，对这件事情往后发展和这个影片的走向一个特别好的一个人物的心理一个走向。这个我想这个可能是这个洛朗先生他自己的想法。
Mr. Liu mentioned the small scene with Sandra at night looking at the laptop, a video of Samuel.
Yes.
It was not scripted. It was not scripted like that. She was supposed to drink at night. It was really later. It was when after the scene with the snow and the lawyer, the scene where she's drinking, and the laptop was the laptop of the lawyer working outside the chalet. And in the image and in the laptop, the video comes from the first script, which is a lesson, a teaching lesson that Samuel was giving. And it was supposed to be the title scene, a very long scene about Stevenson, the great writer. And he was talking to his students. And we were supposed in the script to have the title scene on this course. And we canceled this scene because it was not good. We used the scene where she's supposed to be drunk after the lawyer at night very earlier, and we put another image into the laptop so that she were really not in front of a laptop at night. So we invented a lot of small scenes, a lot of small moments to create this ambiguity. This scene is a new scene, is an editing scene, you know. We are all doing this when we are editors, when we are working on the author movie. It's really often to use material, but we are doing this a lot with Justine. We are reconstructing, rebuilding a lot the movie. And this small scene with her seeing her husband without sound at night is one of those leverage to create ambiguity. For me, editing is really close to rewriting the script. For me, it's really important when we are editor to be able to play as if it was not shot yet. Sometimes when you have a trouble in the dynamics of a movie, when you are in trouble and you may have the courage to imagine what could it be a new scene that you could shoot, even if you don't have the money and it's not possible, because when you are dreaming about a scene that you could shoot, you are finding in the material that already exists a way to find another scene which can have the same function in the script, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are doing this, but this is really the way I'm working, and this is really creative to be a scriptwriter for one day, and the next day you are finding materials to have the scene you were dreaming of. It's not the same because you have you cannot do whatever you want, but it's a way to be creative, to don't mind about the money, to don't mind about the reshoot, and just imagine if we had this scene, could it be right just as a scriptwriter? And then you are really become you are going to be an editor again using the material, but you have to become a scriptwriter for maybe one day or half a day to make the movie better, you know.
剪辑师劳伦先生，好，您好。因为我在一个访谈当中看到，剪辑师曾经说，他们想让观众始终对这个女主角保持怀疑，但是他们又想让观众逐渐的爱上她。所以我想问剪辑师的是，你在达到这个目标的过程中做了哪些努力？是在表演上啊，还是在结构上，还是在什么？是做了哪些工作？
It's really about feelings, because the main operation is, of course, not to show to the audience what happened. It's the first original operation. It's a scripted. So, but after that, when you are in front of that lady, you are looking to every detail as an audience. You are listening and really trying to find something to discover who she is deeply. In editing, it's if I have to answer more technically how we did that, we choose the more endearing material with her, when she was soft enough, because when Sandra Hüller was too harsh, sometimes she's really hard. She could play like that very quickly and very dryly, So this material was not interesting for us. It was when she was weak and very endearing. The material, we took this material, and it was really often the first text, because of course the actress wanted her character to be innocent, So she was trying for the first and second text usually to play very to not to seduce in the wrong way the audience, but to be really it was really balanced, the first text with Sandra Hüller. So we were choosing these takes rather than the last ones, where she was becoming really technically rapid and very and as soon as she was too powerful on the screen, she was becoming to be guilty for the audience, for us. So it was a way to find this, and also, of course, we rebuilt all the script, because there was some scenes when she was too in lightness, laughing, drinking with the lawyer, seducing the lawyer, she was becoming too guilty. So for the audience, we could not think that she was a victim anymore, and we needed the audience to feel that she could be a victim. She is a victim, even if she may have done something. The trial is like a storm for her, on her. This scene was 6 minutes longer, with a lot of improvisation, improv, and it was very like in a rom-com film, It was really like they had lines, but they also could improvise, and the two actors, there was a good chemistry between them, and they really we had a great scene. We had a great scene, but with the snow, and they were having this path between them coming again, but it was impossible to have this, and we understood that at one point she had to keep her mind in the trial and in the questioning him. Do you know I'm innocent? You know I'm not guilty. And he was trying to be light in the lightness, but she could not. Maybe it's the best example, this scene, because it was really, we destroyed the first idea of the scene, in the editing process.
是其实作为一个观众第一次看这个戏的时候，当然会被究竟谁杀了这个男主，就杀了这个丈夫这个事实有很大的兴趣。所以对于我来说，对于案件的信息的关注，也是我看片子的一个很重要的一个关注点吧。那我注意到呢，在这个我们看片子的过程中，对于案件信息的展露或者是揭露，它是有一定的节奏的。在这前头的50多分钟的戏里头，这些关于案件的信息的揭露也好，或者说 如何揭露，什么时候揭露，揭露多少，这些东西是完全由剧本给的吗？还是说他们在后期的过程中，在某一处有一些改造，或者说在某一处隐去了一些，或者说先摁下不表了一些，或者说在某一处怎么？我想听听这个方面，那个Laurent先生有没有什么可以分享的
In fact, at the middle of the movie, it's becoming a real trial movie. Was scripted. The work for me was in three parts, or maybe 4 parts. It was how to manage the beginning till the trial, then the first part, and there is a turning point there when we understand that she had lied, maybe, to the lawyer, and how to twist to the trial was really important. I talk about Daniel, and then the trial itself, and the fourth point was the end with Daniel and what's happening around Daniel and how he's making his mind. For the first part, the script had a lot of problems because we had a big scene that is cut, which was a scene with a medium coming at home, and he was like feeling things, feeling phantoms, and he was talking about the dog, the vomit, and all this. And it was on demand of the boy that the medium came. Because it's a medium introduced by the lady who is taking care of the boy.
Yes.
She was talking about the medium. This scene was very also funny and weird. It was an interesting scene for Justine because it was not useful. It was a free moment, but it was becoming very useful, at least because after this scene, she was calling the lawyer and saying, in fact, I remember that he had vomited and there were pills in the vomit. You know, this scene exists in the movie, but she was remembering this or maybe inventing this after this scene where the medium was having the dog, the vomit, and he was playing like I can see things in the past, you know. So we had to cut this scene. We understood that we had to cut this scene because this scene was making Sandra maybe using this to have a plan to make her innocent, you know. To have her husband had a suicide, and it was becoming really strange and messy in the mind of us when we were screening the movie. So we decided to cut this scene. It was really hard for Justine because it was a great scene, but we had to cut it, and then we also managed to put earlier the fact that she was remembering after she was saying, no, I cannot imagine that he commits suicide such in front of his boy. You know, she's talking like that with her lawyer, and we found out that we had to put very close to this scene the fact that she is saying, in fact, I remember that there was something strange with him. One day he had vomited and there were pills in the vomit, and I wondered if she may have committed suicide. So this was really not like that in the script because of this huge scene that we had to cut and all this, you know. So this turning point where she's remembering something that is going to be what the boy is going to use with the dog, and all the end is about this. The way we had to make this scene and this contradiction. I don't remember a thing. He cannot have committed suicide, and then, yeah, I remember maybe he had committed suicide because he did this already before with pills. Maybe the fact that she's in contradiction, very in touch. You know, the scenes are in touch. So this was not scripted like that, and we had to build this, but it was not, as an editor and even Justine as a filmmaker, we are not like mastermind. We don't know what we are doing. We are trying things a lot and screening, and we are like talking a lot about what we are feeling, what we have been through, you know. So it's really on the craft. It's really artisanal, the way we used information for the audience, because we ourselves didn't know what we were going to live when we were screening so many times every 3 days. The beginning, the first hour, it was really hard to do, but it was really interesting because we didn't know what we were going to feel, and our feeling, our journey, our proper journey, and our talks with Justine were really precious, and were really where we edited the movie. The talks, not the manipulation, is really easy to do. Editing a movie like that is really about what you are feeling, what you feel, and what you say, and the talks were where we could advance. You know, I will say something for all the movie first before talking about the trial part. The pace, Justine is funny because she wanted, for this movie, it's the first time that she wanted to take time in the scene, to have long scenes, but the transitions, she had always been like that. She likes when it's a bit rough, and when we have the only when the audience is always working, you are coming into scene, and you are discovering what are the you know, the issues and all this, but you don't have she really wants the audience to work with us. So the pace for us is really about transition. Sometimes we are really trying very strange and rough way to pop into a scene, you know. The second part, we had a problem with the how it was scripted. We had very long scene in the trial, and then a scene in the chalet, and going back and forth was not really powerful. We were like, okay, to take time for long scene in the trial, but as soon as we went back in the chalet, it was hard to go back to the trial and go again. It was like starting again with the trial, and it was boring for the audience. So what we did was to massify, to put all the trial scenes together. As soon as the trial began, we put a lot of scenes of the trial all together, like a very long trial moment before going back to the chalet. And we also had to put all Daniel journey differently later, because it was supposed to be like that. When Daniel was hearing about the shrink and the suicide and the pills, he was starting to invent, after the drink scene at night. He was starting to not to invent, but to poison his dog, you know. And then he was going back. We were going back to the trial for the argument, and the very long scene where they are talking about literature, the previous book of Sandra. And then he was having doubts before testifying with Marge, but without the dog experiment. You know, it was previously, it was between the shrink and the argument in the script. And we put all Daniel at the end, all the dog things at the end, even the fact that he is asking his mother to go out of the house to sleep elsewhere. It was just before, in the script, it was in order to be free to think and to have doubts. But in the movie, we used it to also to try things with the dog, you know, because it was supposed to be before. So in what you can translate is maybe easier. All the journey of Daniel with the dog was dispatched in the script in the trial, and we had to put it all together at the end, and to put all the trial together as much as we could. We had the trial, a long trial moment. It was really important, and because sometimes it was boring. You can imagine that it's going to be less boring if you have a trial scene and a chalet scene, and in order to change, you know. But in fact, it's not the same contract between the film and the audience. We're not seeing the same. It's not the same work for the audience to see this family at home and to be part of the jury, part of the audience in the courtroom. It's not the same feeling for the audience. And when you are using like layers this contract, it was not working. We understood that as soon as the audience was okay to spend time with us in the courtroom, we should use this signature to put all the trial scenes together, because it's like another movie in the chalet. You know, I don't know if you understand. It was really something that we understood on the craft, that the less we cut the trial, the better it was for the movie, you know. And also we had to put all the contract with Daniel, the thriller thing with Daniel, about the dog and the build and what is he doing, the action had to be all together, and the talking and the trial had to be all together.
洛朗先生，第一个问题是关于省略的，比如说，桑德拉看到尸体之后具体的反应，在几个空镜头之后，他就直接打电话了，他具体是哭了还是叫了，这个东西被省略了，我们无从评判。然后狗吃阿司匹林，丹尼尔怎么发现的这个过程，发现狗狗不行了，他怎么过去抱住它这个过程也被省略了。我们看到直接剪到白天的时候，他已经抱住它了。然后包括像丹尼尔和那个看护一起在看指责桑德拉的这样的一个访谈节目，我们能看到一个大概中全景过这个丹尼尔的背去拍他正在看这个节目，然后他直接顺跳到了一个节目的一个主观的这样一个全屏的内容，然后直接就跳到了酒店，就是桑德拉他也在酒店同时的看。然后我自己代入一下，如果是我做剪辑的话，这样的一个小场，我肯定会给那个 Daniel 一个反应，就是他看这个节目的反应，这是一种惯性的思维。但是在这里很明显，就我们在惯性思维中认为这是一种关键信息的这样的一个表演被省略掉了。所以我想知道，就是除了这些大的，您刚才说的情节点上的这些大的省略，可能来自于悬念啊去做，那这些小的单场戏内的小点的省略是如何去决定的？
I can answer about when the Sandra is discovering the body. This comes from the fact that the scene was not good, so we had to adapt, because Sandra Hüller is a great actress, but she could not really play good the phone call to the emergency services. She was not playing good. It was the first day of the shooting, and she was speaking half in French, the most in French to the emergency services, and she's not very good in French. She's amazing in English, but she cannot really play good in French. And all the material we had downstairs close to her was not good. So we had to try to use the top shot, and we had ADR for the phone call. This was when you have a trouble as an editor, for me, it can be a good news. Because when you don't have a good scene, you have to invent something else. And sometimes this is going to lead you to have an even better scene, because you are struggling a lot to find another path to tell the story, and you are using not only separate ideas. You are obliged to you must use what is in the DNA of the story, because this is the powerful way to tell the story, you know? Yep. And so for me, the DNA of the story is that the father is the music in the movie. As soon as you have this music, you have the father. And also the fact that we omit things, of course, is one of the main things of this story. Is in the DNA, so we can use it a lot. Okay, so from details, as Hang Zhen said about the fact that we are going to the mother during the TV show. And not showing the reaction of Daniel. This is a detail, but it's better like that, because he is becoming like his mother, someone you are going to not to know very well. He's becoming opaque, the boy, at the end. So this is a way to have circulation between the boy and the mother, and he is going to be like his mother, someone that maybe he's inventing memories, you know, and he's becoming an adult. He's becoming like his mother. You don't know him at the end, you know. So, but it's a detail, not to show his reaction. It's a detail, but it's a good detail. But if I go back to the first scene, when she's discovering the body, it's not a detail. It was a nightmare for us during the editing process to not have a good scene with our main character, and such a scene is so important. So it was like dying for us with Justine, you know. We had to find a solution, and it was really hard to find. But this is our job. When the door is not open, we have to come into a window to find a window, you know. We are using the music and the dog because both of them are like really important for the father, for all the movies. In fact, what I understand as now is that the most important thing that we have to do as editors, and we are storytellers, is to make the audience create his own movie. This is much interesting when the audience is working and is guessing things, is discovering, is making his own opinion, his own possibilities. And sometimes it's better not to omit, it's better not to show the reaction, but to make the audience guess what could be the reaction. And it's really often the case that you are showing too much. So many movies I see for some scenes, not all the movie, but it's giving too much information, and I don't have as an audience enough work to do. So it's boring because the emotion, the information, all is here, and I don't have some work, some implication. I need to work as an audience, you know. And our job as editors is to give enough information to make the audience guess the movie, guess his movie. The movie is not on the screen. The movie we are telling is in the head of the audience. So for us, it's really important to pay attention, to give only the information that the audience need to start his proper movie.